Hey guys, welcome back to the Statuesque Events YouTube channel where we talk all things wedding planning, event planning, both for engaged couples, congratulations if you're one of them, and of course also for wedding planners and professionals. Today we're going to be talking about things to consider when you're booking a photo booth. Photo booths, video booths, 360 booths are all like super popular these days. You know, it's rare these days that you go to an event that doesn't have one. And so these are some things you want to consider when you're booking one and when you're planning one into your day. All right. Now, before we go too far, I want to introduce myself real quick. My name is Faye Shala. I'm the owner of Statuesque Events. We plan modern multicultural weddings all across the United States. And when I say that, I really mean it. You know, we've planned events in Connecticut, New York, Florida, here in Maryland, North Carolina, Texas, LA, and many other places. And we always are excited to continue to come to new locations, plan beautiful events, and make it run smoothly. Now, in addition to that, I also run a coaching program for experienced wedding and event planners called Planners Who Profit. It's exactly what it sounds like. By the way, we help experienced event planners to increase their profit by leveling up into the high-end and luxury markets and really just working through the business side of event planning. So if any of this sounds good to you, all the links on how to connect with us and work with us are in the description. But for today, we're going to be talking about planning for photo booths, right? Like things that you want to keep in mind as you're hiring a photo booth and planning for one at your event. Now, number one thing that I think is overlooked, especially if you're planning this event on your own, or if maybe this is the first time you're a planner and the first time you're having a photo booth at your event, is the amount of space that the photo booth needs. A lot of times, and one thing that I've found, unfortunately, is that a lot of times photo booth vendors won't tell you how much space they need unless you ask them. So you want to explicitly ask, how much space do you need for your photo booth? And on average, most people need an 8x8 square or even sometimes a 10x10 square to really accommodate all the things that are going into the photo booth. And that's a good amount of space, right? Especially if you were planning to use every inch of your ballroom or every inch of your cocktail hour space. So it's important to know, hey, I need to map out this much space in my ballroom for the photo booth, right? And for it to actually work, for them to actually be able to set up. A photo booth doesn't really fit like in this tiny corner, but space is actually needed for it to run. And especially when you're talking about like 360 booths, right? Because, there's a platform and then there's a camera like going all the way around you. There's space needed. And so especially if someone doesn't tell you explicitly how much space they need, you need to ask. And it's something that you want to ask early enough so that you can plan for it. All right. So keeping in mind space, but a good rule of thumb is to make sure that there's at least 8x8 space available, if not more, for your photo booth. The second thing that you want to keep in mind is linens. A lot of times when it comes to photo booths, you're like, okay, this photo booth is great and it comes with props, but the props have to go somewhere, which usually means that you have to provide a table, you have to plan for a table, and you also have to plan for props. For linen to go on the table so the props can go on top. So when you're making your rental orders, when you're making all those orders, you got to make sure that you make space for a table and linen. Now, there are a few people who may provide their own tables and linen for a photo booth, and that's great. But again, this is a discussion you need to have, and you need to ask explicitly ahead of time so that you can provide these things on time for your photo booth, and just to make sure that everything runs smoothly and that you have everything that you need for the photo booth. Last but not least, the one thing you definitely want to keep in mind when getting a photo booth is the amount of hours that are included. So here's the thing. It's really important what time your photo booth starts. And our general rule of thumb is that you want the photo booth to start at the same time as your cocktail hour, because that is the time that your guests are walking around the most. That's the most downtime that they have as well. Before the event starts, people are just mingling, they're just having fun, so it's important to at least have the photo booth during cocktail hour. Most photo booth rentals are like a minimum of 2 or 3 hours. So if you only have 2 or 3 hours, I still recommend starting it around cocktail hour and having it go into the first couple hours of dinner. The alternative is that you can also consider having the photo booth during the dancing period, but that is best if it's near where people are going to be dancing. So it's easy for people to go there and come back and remember. A lot of times it's easy to say, oh, we'll have signage or we'll make announcements, but the truth is that people are not paying attention when they're in party mode. So you definitely want to make sure that you're picking time slots that are obvious and that are easy for people to use your photo booth and to make use of the photo booth and everything that you've paid for. So I hope this is helpful for you. These are helpful tips as you're planning a photo booth for your wedding, or a video booth, or a 360 booth, or whatever it is that you plan to have. We're excited. Can't wait to see the pictures and everything of it. But yeah, these are really important tips that have helped us a lot, and I hope that this helps you. So if you've made it this far in this video, please make sure you do these two things: like this video and subscribe. That tells the algorithm that you like this video and to show you more content. And as you can see, we've got so much content coming out to help you as you're planning your events. And we just want to make sure you don't miss any of it, all right? So ciao, enjoy the rest of your day, and we can't wait to see you in the very next video.